Hello, good morning and welcome back to the FishLocker out on the boat. What a stunning morning we've got this morning. It's my favourite time of day. The seasons are definitely changing. It is cold this morning. Well into autumn now. Yeah, the beauty of that being is that my favourite time of day is now a little bit later on, so I get extra half an hour in bed. Yeah, I've got a lot to do today because we're going away. So I've come up to check the pots first thing. I just thought I would stop to show you what a wonderful morning we've got. Let's go! Come on, out you come. There you go. There we go. One of the things about shooting your pots in rocky ground is occasionally they will get stuck. Come here. So far this patch of ground's been terrible. We've got nothing. Little tiny crabs. Let's hope this last pot's a little bit better. Oh yes. Much better. Yeah, that last pot was worth it. First one's always a little bit more difficult. One of the reasons another reason why I'm out here so early is because I've got quite a bit of rain coming. Don't know if you can see it, it's up here as well, so I'm trying to be real quick. These first two pots, zilch, little tiny crabs. What I'm going to have to do, are you going to behave in there? Stay still. Something special, actually, now that I've looked in that pot more. Yeah. Something quite special to talk about in that pot. Little tiny edible crab, and that's it. And this one, velvet swimming crab, 2, 3, and a little tiny spider crab. But a couple of things with this one. The first thing, a bit more weight in this. If you can see this here, there is a lobster claw that's stuck in the side of the pot that's smashed off. Now a couple of things could have happened there. Now a lobster could have had its claw in there as I pulled it up. As it started pulling it away, it's panicked and it's let go of it. Or there's been a lobster in there and something's eaten it. That is what I'm erring towards. Something has eaten it. So there's been a lobster in here and something's eaten it. Spiny starfish, velvet swimming crab. How am I going to get you out? Another velvet swimming crab, This is a sized lobster. Only got one claw. Potentially, because that claw, that smashed up one, was a cutter claw, sorry, was a cruncher claw, that could be the claw off this. But the more interesting thing, let's get this spider crab out of the way. Little male, no, this is a female spider crab. You can tell because she's got a really big pad underneath there. This one is a good one, but this one is a special one. This is a massive female lobster. You can tell it's a female by the width of the tail there, but also because she's carrying thousands and thousands of eggs. A big female like this can carry up to 20,000 eggs. That's why she carries them all underneath there. I'm being really gentle with her. Now she's a monster, she is. Oh, she'll be 120, 125. And you can see how, as the females grow larger, their tails just become so broad. And the reason why they flare out and they're so broad is so they can hold more eggs. I'm going to put her in a bucket with a little bit of water and I'll talk to you about her in a second. Gently does it. Yeah, she's a special one, you need to take care of them. Right, people who've asked about baiting these pots, the bag there, inside the middle of it, is full of salted mackerel and Rotterdam fish. Now most of these pots, the baits are still untouched, so I'm just going to add a little tiny bit more bait, get them sorted out, shoot them back, and I'll talk to you about these two lobsters. Oh, I've splashed the lens. Of course I've splashed the lens. I'll talk to you about those lobsters now. Right, first lobster. One with only one claw. There is a chance, because he is missing a cruncher claw, that the smashed up one in the pot could have been his. One of the crabs could have taken it off and eaten it, that lobster could have taken it off and eaten it, an octopus, anything could have taken it off and eaten it. And this guy is going to be legal. He is 92 mil. So this guy's a legal lobster to take. Yeah, I'm saying he's a guy. What I'll do is I'll keep hold of him, because he's only got one claw. If I catch two better ones with two claws, I'll take them instead and let this one go. In my area, in Cornwall, you're allowed 2 lobsters per day. There are quite a few bylaws pertaining to lobsters. One of them being the minimum landing size, 90mm on the carapace. Another one being 2 lobsters a day if you're not a commercial fisherman like me. Another one is buried female lobsters. You are not allowed to land a lobster that is pregnant, like this one. There is a scheme called the V-notching scheme, whereas pregnant females like this wonderful specimen here, calm down girl, I'm not going to hurt you. Lobsters like this that are proven to be really productive breeders. I mean, look how many eggs she's got there, there are absolutely millions of them. For people who are also concerned, the eggs are held to her body by like an enzyme that she produces, so they're stuck to her underneath her tail. When they're ready to be released, they go in 3 colours. They go green, like a real deep dark green, then black, then red and black, and then they hatch. These are in the green stage, so these are brand new fresh eggs. She will hold these for a couple of weeks now until she's ready to release them, and then she releases another enzyme that lets them go and they just drift off into the ocean. Now the V-notching scheme being that, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to keep her laid down and I'm going to angle the camera down. Right, the V-notching scheme, either this tail fan or this tail fan can be marked with a little V, just a little V like that. Once a lobster has been marked with a V-notched lobster, it's illegal to land them, because a V-notched lobster is a proven breeding lobster. Now look, all I'm going to do is I'm going to snip into her tail, into this fan. Calm down, girl. And this tail fan. 2 V's. So there and there. And all it's done is it's just taken out a little tiny piece of shell. Now eventually, when she sheds her shell, all crustaceans, they shed their shells to grow. When she sheds her shell, in a year's time, in 3 years' time, these will eventually grow out, but it will take 2 or 3 sheds. If she breeds successfully every season, and it takes 3 or 4 sheds to grow out, we could have had 3 lots of 20,000 eggs in the ocean now because of those little V-notches. So yeah, there they are. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave her in here a couple more minutes just to chill out. I'm going to sort myself all out. I'm going to move away because I'm not going to drop her back in right next to where I put my pots, because she'll just go straight back in one of my pots. There's her V's. There's all them eggs. You away, yeah? See you later. Oh, that rain's coming. Flipping heck. Flipping heck. My God. We've got a freaking sea monster in this one. I hope it's not dead. Oh, yes. That is mental. Jesus. Yeah, there's something special in that one. I panicked for a second then because it was laid on its back. Oh my word. Yeah, that's a special one. That's a special one. My word, Jesus. It's also, there's quite a funny thing to say about that one. Come on, up you come, up you come. As James would say, big effort, Dad, big effort. Come on, lad, big effort. Last one. Come on, last one. Right. Whoa. I cannot go over that. That is crazy. Right, deal with them from this end first. These red pots do fish well. We had our last 2 hauls were poor hauls, which is how I know there was something wrong with them. Slightly undersized male edible crab. He won't be. He's about 5 mil under. Well, let go. One little undersized lobster. Now you might have noticed this one clapping its tail and the big female before with the eggs clapping its tail. They walk forwards and they swim backwards by clapping that tail. Not a lovely little spotty one, isn't it? Another undersized one. For anyone curious, they are heavy. Especially when they've got stuff in them. I'll get you out of there first before someone ends up fighting with you. That is a nice sized male lobster. Well over the legal limit. Perfect. Nice keeper. Undersized male. I think that's going to be a female. Yes. This can show you the difference between males and females. Not only in behaviour but also in shape. You see, he's got his claws out, he's more aggressive. As in, like, he'll take you on, he'll fight you. Whereas she's just protecting what's vulnerable. She's just being quite submissive. You can see by the size of the claws, and also you can see, he's going to have me in a second. This vent underneath here, with the males, it's just a narrow V. Whereas the females, it's a large pad. The same as like with the pregnant female earlier on, having a wider tail, having a wider hips. She's got a larger fan because that's where she keeps her eggs. Both undersized. All of these crabs are undersized. It's a good sign for the future. But the lobster that's in this one, oh my word. There's something interesting to talk about with him as well. Now, I've caught some big lobsters with our videos. I think he's probably up there with being one of the biggest ever. Oh, he weighs a ton. My word. He'll be a 6 pound lobster. That is just an absolute freaking giant. But the interesting thing is this little dead eaten lobster. You know what I was saying earlier on about that claw that was in there that had been eaten up, and it could have been that female that's done it. Well, he has definitely done that. There's been a little baby lobster in here and he's just smashed it and ate it. So yeah, cannibalism. But that is just, I'm going to have to go foot with that in there. Just look at the size of him. My goodness. Yeah. When the pot came up, of course they come up vertically, he'd fallen right down to the bottom of the pot and he was laid upside down. And I thought, oh no, I hope he's not dead. And all it was he's just that bloody big that he can't turn himself over. You have to be careful with these as well, because he'll be over 50-year-old. He's freaking massive. He'll be 160. He'll be 50-year-old. And the claws are that heavy, they can't support the weight of their own body out of the water. So you'll find that these big ones like this, they'll be real slow. Just look at look at the size of that claw. Hey, let go, let go. Now we caught one I caught a big orange one like this a while back with James, when James was with me, and we V-notched it. We called it Scally after my uncle who died. This one, I thought when he come up, I thought this one was Scally, but as you can see, there's no V-notches in this one. I honestly don't know what to do with this. It's far too big to take. I mean, this creature's, it's older than I am. Look at the size of that claw, look at the size of that claw compared to my head. It's far too big to keep. I'm going to put him in a tub and I'll make a phone call. I'm going to make a phone call with the Lobster Hatchery and see if they want it. That's just monstrous. So yeah, a size lobster and just like Godzilla of lobsters. Got all these ropes sorted out, rebait these pots and get them shot back. This will be like a note to self. Got halfway through shooting them red pots and battery died. The one time where I couldn't stop what I was doing to change the battery. So yeah, anyway. I spent too long on the phone to the guys at the hatchery and I'd left the camera on. I'm waiting for a phone call back from the guys from the lobster hatchery in Padstow as to whether or not they can take that lobster. If anybody doesn't know what the hatchery does or know about the hatchery, we did a video where we took another lobster there in the past. I will tag it into the description here. What they do is they take in pregnant female lobsters all the way through the pregnancy until they hatch, and then they rear on the youngsters, which is their most vulnerable period of time, and then release them into the wild. Really interesting. I'll tag it in. Anyway, let's go and get them other pots. Whoa. We had one of these pots. One of these pots got broken off in the bad weather. So I put a really heavy one on and put them in a deeper spot of water. And I'm regretting it now. Come on. Yeah, like I've said before, because I'm working these pots in really rough ground, they're going to get stuck every now and again. And all I'm using is I'm just holding the rope tight and letting the buoyancy of the boat or the wind and tide pushing against it to pull the pot out. If that doesn't work, what I'll have to do, oh, there we go. If that doesn't work, what I'll have to do is I'll have to start the engine and steam around in a circle. Try and pull the pot out. There we go. There we are. Just took a little bit of patience. Just a little bit of patience, that's all it needed. Yeah, this one's a heavy one. It's also a different design. I don't know how well you can see it, I'll show you it. Instead of the soft dyed pots, which is every other type of pot that I've got, where it's got like a soft gap going in, this is called a top entry parlour pot, because it's got everything can enter the pot in here. They go in and they can't climb back out, and it's called a parlour pot because it has a parlour on the back, which is this compartment here. Just a couple of little velvets for now. That's actually, as far as velvets go, that's quite a big one. Yeah, I'm not surprised that hasn't fished well, because that's only just been in the water a day or two. Another little velvet. And a tiny, absolutely tiny, tiny little lobster. This guy is like a king prawn, isn't he? Look. Perfection in miniature. Whereas that big guy's like 50 years old, this guy's probably 3 or 4. Depending on a few variables, depending on the temperature of the water, the availability of food, all that sort of stuff. Lobsters usually take around 7 or 8 years to reach an age where they're at legal size, and they start breeding at like 5, 6. So by the time they've reached 90mm, they've bred 2 or 3 times. Right, final one. Another velvet. Another velvet. A little tiny hairy male spider crab. What have we here? Ooh, this might be the replacement for the one with 1 claw. I'll measure it in a second. And a female velvet. I mentioned this before, but velvets, they play possum, look. She'll lay on her back there and pretend to be dead. You'll put your hand in the pot thinking it's dead, turn straight round and it comes alive. They are fast. If you ever see them edible crabs, the brown edibles, they're just slow, they're docile. Those velvets are almost cunning. Oh yes, 91mm. You measure from the back of the eye to the back of the carapace, parallel to that line. Yeah, 91mm. The people keep mentioning, and I have to keep explaining, I use a tape measure to show you how to measure with a tape, because more people have got access to a tape measure or a ruler or a measuring tape than a gauge. You can get no-go gauges where it's measured to 90 and you just offer it up straight away and you can measure like that. But where's the educational factor of that? So what I'm going to do is, where are you? This guy is going to go back to 1 claw, and I'm going to keep going with 2 claws. Now I am going to reshoot these pots here in this position, just because I feel it's got more potential to give out. So I'm not going to throw this guy back yet. I'll throw him back in a minute when I'm away from where my pots are going. I still can't get over this lobster. He's just an absolute giant, isn't he? Look at the size of him. This shows you the difference in comparison, doesn't it? That's a legal lobster, and that's how big he is. Look, he is the same size, his claws are the same size as a normal lobster. Look, just amazing. The length of his antennas. Yeah. Right. We did end up getting two better sized lobsters. The reason why I say they're better, they're not bigger, it's just those two have got 2 claws and this one's only got 1. Because I'm only allowed to take 2, let that one go. Right, the guys from the hatchery have just got back to me. Unfortunately, they've said that they haven't got any space. They're taking 2 of their tanks down for maintenance, so they haven't got any space to be able to take this guy, which is a shame because he's probably one of the best specimens I have ever seen. He's a monstrous great pinky. Just this, like the sheer size of that claw as well. So what they've asked me to do is they've just said, we can't take him, I'm afraid, can you just V-notch him and let him go? So I said, yeah, of course I can. Now the V-notching bylaw was designed to protect pregnant females, but it doesn't discriminate by sex. A V-notched lobster is a V-notched lobster. So I could V-notch this male and it'll protect him too. Now, that's what they've asked me to do, so that's what I'm going to do. The same as with the female, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little snip in both of his tail fans. There, look. You see them little legs flapping? The females, when they've got their eggs underneath, that's what they attach them to. See, all I've done is I've just stuck a couple of these in him there so he'll be protected. Now he is a fantastic specimen. He would be a prime example for keeping the breeding stock going. Just because not only are his genes healthy enough that he's reached this size? But he can't be that stupid, can he? I mean, he's survived 50 years now. Evaded capture for 50 years until I come along. Yeah, he's just an absolute donkey. I'm going to get a couple of photos and then we'll get him released. But yeah, that's been an amazing day. And we've managed to escape the rain showers. For now. So we need to get a move on. Get one last look at him. Right there, lad. Going. Oh, he's just a stunner, isn't he? See you later. There he is. What we're looking at now. And there he is going down on the sounder. Just to see him there, and he's at 9 metres. Well, I hope you enjoyed joining me. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later.